What are the strongest qualities of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and the great and powerful Jeff Dean since you've gotten a chance to work with each?
You're starting with an easy question there. These are three very different people. I guess you could do maybe a pairwise comparison between them instead of a group comparison. So if you look at
Yeah.
Steve Jobs and Elon, I worked a lot more with Elon than I did with Steve. They have a lot of commonality. They're both visionary in their own way. They're both very demanding in their own way. Um, my sense is Steve is much more human factor focused, where Elon is more technology focused.
What does human factor mean?
Steve's trying to build things that feel good, that people love, that affect people's lives, how they live. He's looking into the future a little bit in terms of what people want.
Mhm.
Where I think that Elon focuses more on learning how exponentials work and predicting the development of those.
Steve worked with a lot of engineers. That
Yeah,
was one of the things that reading the biography and how can a designer essentially talk to engineers and like get their respect?
I think so. I did not work very closely with Steve. I'm not an expert at all. My sense is that he pushed people really hard, but then when he got an explanation that made sense to him, then he would let go. And he did actually have a lot of respect for engineering, but he also knew when to push. And when you can read people well, you can know when they're holding back and when you can get a little bit more out of them. And I think he was very good at that. I mean, if you compare the other folks, so Jeff Dean, right? Jeff Dean's an amazing guy. He's super smart, as are the other guys. Um, Jeff is a really, really, really nice guy, well-meaning. He's a classic Googler.
Yeah.
He wants people to be happy. He combines it with brilliance, so he can pull people together in a really great way. He's definitely not a CEO type. I don't think he would even want to be that.
Do you know if he still programs?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
is
he
he?
definitely programs. Jeff is an amazing engineer today, right? And that has never changed. So it's really hard to compare Jeff to either of those two. He I think that Jeff leads through technology and building it himself and then pulling people in and inspiring them. And so I think that that's one of the amazing things about Jeff. But each of these people, with their pros and cons, all are really inspirational and have achieved amazing things. So
Yeah.
it's been I've been very fortunate to get to work with these guys.
For yourself, you've led large teams. You've done so many incredible, difficult technical challenges. Is there something you've picked up from them about how to lead?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I think leadership is really hard. It really depends on what you're looking for there. I think you really need to know what you're talking about. So being grounded on the product, on the technology, on the business, on the mission is really important. Being understanding what people are looking for, why they're there. One of the most amazing things about Tesla is the unifying vision, right? People are there because they believe in clean energy and electrification and all these kinds of things. Um, the other is to understand what really motivates people, how to get the best people, how to build a plan that actually can be executed. Right? There's so many different aspects of leadership, and it really depends on the time, the place, the problems. There's a lot of issues that don't need to be solved, and so if you focus on the right things and prioritize well, that can really help move things.
Two interesting things you mentioned. One is you really have to know what you're talking about. How you've worked on a lot of very challenging technical things.
Sure.
So I kind of assume you were born technically savvy, but assuming that's not the case, how did you develop technical expertise? Like even at Google, you worked on I don't know how many projects, but really challenging,
Yeah.
very varied. Te-
Compilers, TPUs, hardware, cloud stuff, bunch of different things. The thing that I've become comfortable as I've more comfortable with as I've gained experience is being okay with not knowing. And so a major part of leadership is actually it's not about having the right answer, it's about getting the right answer. And so if you're working in a team of amazing people, right? And many of these places, many of these companies all have amazing people. It's the question of how do you get people together? How do you build trust? How do you get people to open up? How do you get people to, be vulnerable sometimes with an idea that maybe isn't good enough, but it's the start of something beautiful? How do you um how do you provide an environment where you're not just like top down, thou shalt do the thing that I tell you to do, right? But you're encouraging people to be part of the solution, and providing a safe space
So,
where if you're not doing the right thing, they're willing to tell you about it. Right.
so you're okay asking dumb questions?
Oh yeah, dumb questions are my specialty. Yeah. Well, so I've been in the hardware realm recently, and I don't know much at all about how chips are designed. I know a lot about using them. I know some of the principles and the ars technica level of this, but
Our
it turns out
technical level,
it turns out that if you ask a lot of dumb questions, you get smarter really really quick. And when you're surrounded by people that want to teach and learn themselves, it can be a beautiful thing.